Hello, everyone. This is Eric Ma. I had to start it myself, and I was trying to use my own account to come into Twitter. I see action in here. You're probably a pro at Twitter Spaces. How do I do this so that I only have one phone, and I know Twitter Spaces works much better um, on the mobile. So how do I do this so that I can use my personal account and jump in here as well? Let me
All right, you should be able to hear me now. You're screwed. That's the bottom line. You need a phone to be able to get on Twitter Spaces. It's not support on desktop yet. You'd have to use an emulator if you want to be in here with another account from the computer. But it always, crashes too. So it's not even worth it. You'd need a second phone.
Okay. That's all right then. I'll just do it from the deeper account. Not a problem. Okay. Let me get my stuff ready. Since this is being recorded, there's no sense in really waiting for more people to come in because the questions won't really be, the question section won't be at the end, anyways. And so I'm just going to get started. So it's been a while since we've done any AMA. There has been a lot of developments, which I'll provide to you guys today and answer any questions. So the bear market has been a bear market. And so when usually when that happens, things are tend to be somewhat quiet for the most part, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing going on. And so right now, I'll give you guys about 15-20 minutes of updates, and then we will go over any questions that people have. And then if there's no, any live questions, we'll also jump into some of the questions that we've collected from the community. So hope everyone is doing well. And the first thing I like to let everyone know is that Consensus in Austin, Texas is going on currently. And even though we don't have a booth there, we are represented there. The founder Russell, co-founder Cheryl, they're both there. And they've been very, very busy over the last 6 months to 9 months trying to get funding for Deeper. So we're doing another round of funding, and this allows us to have a longer runway and to continue development. We have confirmed several investors, big investors, and I could probably, even though they're super slow about the announcement, I've been waiting for them for probably about a month now to make that announcement, but we have confirmed and signed a deal with a huge tier one investor, which is awesome because they will provide us a lot of resources that is much, very needed. So not only are they providing us more runway, but we'll have connections to their network and their resources as well. And just to give, I don't want to announce it before them, but just to give everyone an idea, they are a project ranked top 10 ranked project in the ecosystem, and they have a venture wing that has invested in Deeper Network. So we were super excited to receive that, and we also have some other investors as well. And going to Consensus this year, right now, there's a lot of meetings set up already for the founder and co-founder as well. Okay, so that's first. The second thing is the much awaited the DPN app that we have talked about that was supposed to be released in quarter one of this year. I know we're just past that. And the reason that it's a little bit postponed probably is because of the minor vulnerability we had about a month or two ago. I want to be transparent with this. We did have a slight, what could be seen as a security flaw, but in reality, it wasn't a major security flaw. But it was brought up because the people were discovering that they can access their own network without having to input a password. Basically, the thing is they're unable to access other people's networks without inputting a password. So that was a big difference. But still, I think it was somewhat of a problem that needed to be fixed, and our developers had set us back about 2 to 3 weeks to gather and to fix the problem. So I think that set back the app release date a little bit. But the app itself is going to be released very soon. Testing is going to start next month. Okay, so we're end of April now. So in May, testing will start. And what the DPN app is imagine people who don't have a Deeper Connect device, they're able to download this app and be able to use decentralized VPN. Okay. And so the cool thing with this is that when they're doing that, it's actually allowing people to connect to our nodes. So if you have a Deeper Connect device, you are a node in the network. We hope that you continue to share your bandwidth so that the network is strong. And so when that happens, is people will discover Deeper Network. Now, we're not sure exactly how long they will get a free kind of a trial period for the app. I'm thinking it's definitely going to be longer than 7 days, but maybe closer to a month. That hasn't been totally decided yet. But people who download it will be able to use it. And then after the free trial period, they'll be able to purchase, credits basically, or a membership to use the service. So it's kind of like buying a VPN, right? But of course, we're decentralized VPN. So it's going to first release on Windows and Mac. It's actually probably all going to release at the same time. So there's going to be a Windows version, a Mac version, a Linux version, and then Android and iOS. So for iOS, typically it's quite strict in terms of getting the app on the App Store, because Apple's quite very, very strict. So there could be some test flight options as well before it's fully released on iOS. But the great news is that all that stuff is ready. I've seen the app. It's clean. It works great. It's very simple, easy to use interface. And I know that when we talked about the app, or when I did several months ago, I talked about the deflationary aspect that we hope to continue into phase 2 of the app, where when people swipe their credit card, okay, so in order to buy the credits, they can click in the app, and then it goes to our website, which then they can purchase the service using their credit card. Okay, so that's the first stage. Stage 2, we are hoping that through the swiping of the credit card, they're able to, on the back end, we're able to purchase DPR from those fees, and we have the built-in EasyC system, which is the Easy Coin, which is the credits that will be used in order to use our DPN. Okay, so that's stage 2. And so in order for EasyC tokens to be created, DPR is burned, which creates a deflation aspect of DPR. Because as we know, with the mining and stuff, there is a lot of inflation involved. So we're finding and building new ways to fight that as well. So that will give more value to DPR. And so the other aspect for EasyC is that's important is that the Howey test, which sets which determines if something, the U.S. regulators use, the SEC uses to see if something is a security or not. They use the Howey test. And so by using EDC, we pass the Howey test, which would protect DPR and make it not a security. So that is something that we have researched and done as well, but that will need a little bit more time. The first step is to get the app running, get people to discover the app and hopefully love it and join Deeper Network that way. And if they decide to go take it a step further, they could go ahead and purchase our devices as well. All right, the third thing is Indiegogo. So we have a new product that's about to launch. We've been busy doing that as well. The team for the Indiegogo is about to launch the new product, which is called the Deeper Connect Air. Now, the Deeper Connect Air is a truly portable device, as opposed to the Pico. The Pico is portable. However, there is still, cables. It's not as easy to use. And also, as you guys might know, the Pico is limited to 100 megabits per second. Okay, so the speed for some is not enough. And the Air can handle speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. And the device itself is going to be stronger, has a longer range. It's got a dual built-in antenna. So the thing itself just connects directly into the device, into your laptop. And there's other ways to use it. You can plug it into an adapter, like a power adapter. You could also plug it into like a USB-C drive or something like that and make it work. So there's a lot of ways to use it. And this new device is a new and improved Pico. The Pico is, it was our first portable device. This is kind of the second generation of that. And it would also, because of the consensus mechanism that we use, which is the NPOW, which is being developed. For people that don't know what NPOW is the next generation proof of work, which is going to be the main consensus mechanism for the deeper chain. And so this NPOW requires hardware kind of requirements. So the Pico is unable so far to participate in NPOW. So the Mini is, the Nano is, the Mini SE is as well. So with the Deeper Connect Air, that will be able to participate because of the hardware advancements that were made. Okay. So for those of you that would like to find out more about the Deeper Connect Air, please go to our webpage and you can sign up and get the latest news on the Deeper Connect Air. Be one of the first to receive the Deeper Connect Air on Indiegogo when it comes out. And the plan for that is, again, within the next month and a half, the Indiegogo should be launched. All right, number 4, DEP, which is the Decentralized Edge platform that we have created. This allows developers to develop dApps on our platform. Currently, that has not been the main focus in attracting people to write dApps. It's something that's quite hard to do. Obviously, a blockchain like Ethereum is the main one that most people write their dApps on. But eventually, I do strongly believe that our Deeper chain is going to be a very, very welcoming chain for people to write dApps on. And right now we're developing our decentralized Oracle, which is much, much better than any of the oracles out there, including some of the oracles that are in the top 20. I don't want to name any names, pick any fights, but it is decentralized. It's basically it's unhackable. And it's a lot stronger, and it uses nodes and different nodes to do price pulls. So it pulls price for things. So it's a little bit technical, but the decentralized Oracle, what it's able to do is we're already using it now. We're testing it, and we have a lot of NPOW testers on the DP, and they receive on average about 30 to 40 DPR a day just on the DP. And so what it does is it uses your IP to pull price, and it doesn't put you at any risk of anything, but it's just like you're using your computer to do Web3 work and getting paid for that. So that's basically one use of the decentralized decentralized Oracle that we're building. And in the future, any service, again, I've said this before, we're a Web3 infrastructure project. A lot of people confuse us, and they say they see us just as like a device project. We're just selling minis and Picos and Airs, and that's like the gist of our project. It really isn't. That is kind of the foundation, but what we are is a Web3 infrastructure project that will allow companies to build on top of our infrastructure, to come in and be able to use services like the decentralized Oracle, to use the Deeper Chain and the other dApps that are built on it. And so the infrastructure itself is going to have access to bandwidth that's not censorable. It's going to have access to decentralization and an entire network around the world, and also have access to millions of IPs, which will be able to do real work on the internet. And that's kind of the beauty of Web3. So that's the kind of foundation that we're building. It's not the most exciting. It's hard to understand for a lot of people, but once it's set, and it's companies and investors will see the huge value. That's the potential that's there, and a lot of people are seeing that. And I think that's why in a bear market like this, we can get a tier one investor to invest in Deeper Network. I can't wait to announce that, just so people can see that it's real. But they know what they're doing, these tier one investors, and when they see a good project, they will invest in it. And the switch right now, we have proof of credit, which is the other consensus mechanism that is on its transition out. And proof of credit is basically the sharing of your bandwidth, right? And so that will continue. There will be a hybrid period where proof of credit and NPOW happen at the same time, where you can earn both rewards by sharing your bandwidth as well as do Web3 tasks. Okay, but eventually, the potential and the design of the entire blockchain is going to be based on NPOW, and it has a lot more use cases. You can do a lot more under NPOW as well. Okay, and the rewards paid will be the same. It will be in credits of EZC, which is basically convertible into DPR. Okay. All right. So that is number 4. Number 5 I have is we are studying and have started to look into the integration of ChatGPT and AI into our customer support. So this is something that we're still researching, but it will allow Deeper Network to be more discoverable in ChatGPT, and it would also help our customer base a lot better as well. So we're just trying to stay ahead of the technology and being with the vanguard of the technology that's happening now, so that our users can benefit from it. So that is something that's quite exciting. So imagine typing into ChatGPT, how do I do this? How do I set up my device? And it would know. Because right now you have to program that into it. So we're currently looking into that. Number 6, I don't know if some of you have seen, we have partnered with RuskDesk. RuskDesk is a decentralized team viewer, essentially. So it allows 2 computers to connect to each other, okay, and allows them to do tasks and help each other, whether it's technical or just allows you, for instance, to connect your laptop at home to your work computer so that you can do stuff at home with your work computer, for instance. So these are things that Rust does, and there's many different types of use cases for something like this, a service like this. The great thing about Rust Desk is that it's decentralized. Okay, as a Web3, the core of Web3 is about decentralization, and we're moving in that direction. The problem with TeamViewer is that it's a Web2 platform, and there have been cases. If you search the internet, I don't know if you guys have ever used TeamViewer, but I remember using it when I used to have an office job, and it was very convenient. However, it was a Web2 platform. There was a lot of information that was at risk when you're connecting to somebody. If you're in the same company, it's usually okay because we're on the same team. But if you're trying to connect TeamViewer to a customer service halfway around the world, there's a lot of risk there. And there was cases just over a year ago when TeamViewer was hacked and people were gaining access to other people's networks. So that was a huge issue, and Web3 is going to avoid that, basically. So Rust Desk has been integrated into Atom OS. If you look at it, you'll see a Rust Desk tab in Atom OS, and we have written a Rust Desk tutorial in our blog. If you have never visited our blog, you can go and check it out. I believe it's blog.deeper.network, and it will tell you how to set it up. Now, if you have a public IP, you'll be able to set it up and use it, no problem. It becomes a little technical. I mean, if you've never used it before, the learning curve is gonna be there. But if you're in IT, you're gonna be able to figure it out. If you don't have a public IP, you can still use it. However, you have to use the WireGuard forwarding, which we have that service available. Right now, we have limited, since we're still testing Rust Desk, but it's limited and people are using it already. However, because it is limited, when they're using it, there's no extra connections available for new users. So as we continue to test, we will grow the number of the WireGuard forwarding openings. So it'll allow more and more people to use it as well. Okay, so the Rust Desk is something that's very exciting. So it just adds another layer of features to the Deeper Connect devices. So it's no longer just cybersecurity. It's no longer just DPN. Now you're looking at the opportunity to have Rust Desk. You can connect to your own computers. You can connect to other people's. It's a great tool. And the Rust Desk team is awesome, and it's a pleasure to partner with them. All right. Last but not least, and I'm sure other things from questions, other updates could possibly come out, but one of the most exciting things I think is the multi-chain wallet we're building, and being in the Polkadot ecosystem, interoperability is super important. And I know right now a lot of people are frustrated with the bridge and being able to transfer their DPR on the Deeper chain out to BNB chain or even Ethereum if they can handle the gas fees. But in order to get that on the market to do whatever they want. So the bridge is limited. It is a huge limiting factor, but most of it is for security purposes. But just to let everyone know, we are building a multi-chain wallet that will allow people to connect to different chains effortlessly without crazy limits or crazy fees or anything like that. And so that is going to be hopefully by the Q3 or Q4 of this year, that should be ready, and it will make it a lot easier for people to move their DPR tokens around. Okay, so these are the updates that we have currently. There are other things million other things that are going on as well. On the marketing front, we're constantly, the numbers for the marketing have been consistently improving. I got to update a report on this earlier this week on the numbers, and every time I see our numbers, it's increasing. It's very steady. It's very organic. We do a lot of Facebook advertising as well as Google and Instagram, of course. And so I don't know if some of you probably have come across some of these updates, and it has been making a difference. I think there is a huge need for privacy protection and security as well. So more and more people are realizing the importance of this, and we will continue to push that. And so with each device sold, it's not about making money on the device. It's more about laying down the nodes and continuing that effort to build the infrastructure. The more nodes we have, the stronger network we have. Okay. All right. So that is what I have currently. And I know you guys will have some questions. If you guys want to raise your hand, I can ask you to come on stage. Any questions from the audience? I guess if not yet, I can, let me see here. Oh, I see some. There's another thing I could probably give people updates on. This is for the Genesis miners. Genesis miners are the first nodes that participated in the deeper chain to become nodes, and they have been enjoying amazing APYs on their sharing of bandwidth and the rewards that they're earning, and they also have a lot of DPR staked. And I understand, a lot of people are saying, well, when I bought my DPR, it was worth 12 cents or 15 cents, and now it's worth less than a penny. We understand that we can't really control the market, but it is. We don't manipulate our prices. So what the price is the natural market price. Now, with the bull market, as we continue to grow and gain more adopters and investors, we will get stronger. The project itself is only going to get stronger. And so it's one of those things. And when it really does take off, it'll happen very quickly. So hang in there, and all those stake DPRs are going to be worth more than it is now. Not financial advice, but I truly believe in this project. That's why I'm still in this project. I love this project, and the team is a solid team. Even though, like Russell and Cheryl, they're not very front facing, but it seems like it's just me and a lot of the moderators. But please do trust that we are putting our best foot forward for the project. And so regarding the Genesis, the program will end this August 28th, 2023. So we're about 4 months away. Okay. That's going to be when it ends on August 28th of this year. That's 2 years from its inception. And from there, the Genesis nodes will continue to enjoy 10% higher rewards than the basic mining 2.0. Okay. So at 10%, and after each 6 months, the rewards will drop 1% until it locks at 5%. So forever, if you're a Genesis miner, you will enjoy 5% higher rewards than all miners. Okay. And the incentivization plan is to launch NPOW eventually. And when that happens, people have the option to unstake at any time. And there was another question that a lot of people were asking is, when can they basically increase their stake on Atom OS? That made it super easy when people were able to just roll their rewards back into their stakes and increase their credit tier. That was stopped because there were some updates and some security improvements that were made there. As soon as that's available, we will bring it back. I don't have a timeline on that, but I know that they are working on that. So if I had to guess, I would say probably another 2 to 3 months until that's going to happen. So meanwhile, you can still upstake. However, it's more of a pain in the butt because you have to use the bridge and use the BNB or BSC staking platform to do that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to the audience. I have one requested. Let's see here. Okay. Action. Hey, Victor.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, a lot of static though.
Uh-oh, I'll fix it. 1 second.
I'd like to also thank Victor for all the support he's provided Deeper Network. He is not paid by Deeper Network in any way or form. He supports the project and gives his personal views on the project, and he's still here, so he's truly an all-star to me.
All right, I just heard All Star at the end because I was
Much
switching
better.
headsets here. But let me just
That's all you needed to hear.
let me ask you, can you okay with some hard hitting questions here? Because I think it's stuff that everybody probably wants to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So let's do this. All right. First thing you mentioned an investor that you're not only getting money but also the connection. So it's going to be a two-parter here. What does Deeper need additional funds for?
Well, development. I mean, there's salaries to pay, and there's in order to develop, you know, we don't sell our own. So we have no tokens to sell. Really, all of our tokens are locked up. We don't dump on our own tokens like a lot of projects do, and so we need to generate revenue, which we do through some sales of the device, but most of it comes from investors, right? And so that's what's given us our runway. And so these new investors would just prolong our runway and allow us to continue development on the project.
Cool. So I guess the follow-up ends up being you mentioned that there were connections associated with this investor. What does that look like? What kind of connections is Deeper interested in making or, I guess getting paired up with for future development, opportunities, whatever it may be?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest is just through their network of other projects they've invested in. And when you hear this name, everyone will know uh, the project that invested in us, and their network of projects that they've invested in and also that they've partnered with it basically allows us to tap into that, and so we can have new partnerships, we can have new cooperations, resources, support in terms of development on the developer side, a lot of different aspects, and also cross promotions. So it will help on every front, not only in development but also in marketing, stuff like that. So I think that was probably the greatest. And the extra runway, of course, it's just a all around a good thing from us. And then they're very hands off as well. So they believe in the project. They like the direction we're heading in. So they're not going to be, a lot of investors will come in and start basically taking over. Like some of the other mining projects out there, which changed everything, right? These guys are very hands off, and they really believe in what we're doing, and so yeah, it's just a really a huge win-win for us.
Good stuff. Until somebody else requests, I'm going to keep going because I got questions, right?
Go ahead, Victor.
All right. So talking about your new device that's coming out, I love the fact that it's USB-C. I mean, I'll be able to plug it right into my laptop, but I sometimes use a lot of ports. Is there going to be some type of extension cable so that that big old thing won't be sticking out on my laptop? or am I stuck with a large form factor, hanging off of my laptop?
That's a good question. I think that's an easy solution. Even if we didn't have an extension, I'm not sure about the extension. I'm sure if there was a huge need for it, that we could possibly provide it as an accessory. But to be honest, a device like this, the purpose of it is that it's all in one piece. You no longer have a cable for the power, another cable for the computer, and then like the Wi-Fi adapter unplugs, and you got to like find that if you misplace it. That's like three pieces, right? Three or four different pieces. This Deeper Connect Air is just one piece, and it just plugs into a USB-C. Even if you don't plug it into your computer, you can plug it to a USB-C adapter. It could be a phone charger, for instance. It'll come with its own adapter as well. Plug it right into the outlet, and you can work it that way as well. So you don't necessarily have to plug it into your computer. So there's a lot of ways to use it for different types of environments. So it's quite flexible.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I'm a big nerd, so and I'm sure you know that. Whenever I
Yes,
see something that's going to be taken in, thank you. I appreciate the vote of confidence, me being a nerd. But
I like nerds.
anytime,
Yeah, I'm kind of
anytime
a
you're
nerd.
dealing with like remote, like Wi-Fi connections, you're going to lose speed anytime you're setting it up that way. Which I
Oh, do we lose Victor? You still there, Victor?
oh,
Oh, heard you. Your speaker's on mute now.
hear me now. I unmuted.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's my internet. I'm sharing too much bandwidth. That's what it is.
Well, you can adjust that. You
Well,
could
that leads
customize
me to
that.
the next question that I think is kind of important. With NPLW being the end all and be all in the future, do you believe that that's going to cause individuals to lower their bandwidth sharing?
No, because that will be part of it as well. Bandwidth sharing could, and I need to find out more about this, but bandwidth sharing still will be rewarded through NPOW. It's just going to be a little bit different. I don't know exactly how, but obviously we still have to encourage bandwidth sharing as well.
Yeah, that
So there's basically like NPOW, Victor, is like there's going to be so many ways. There's going to be more than one way where users can be rewarded. It's not just doing IP tasks. So to give you guys an idea of what NPOW is capable of, there's some gray areas. There are YouTubers that purchase fake views and clicks on their videos to get their viewership up so it looks better, especially for people who do sponsored videos, right? And they want to make sure all of their videos get at least 1 million views, so they go ahead and buy these kind of things. But that's not, number one, it's very expensive, and number two, if they get caught, they could be shut down by YouTube, right? Remember, YouTube is a Web 2 platform. They can decide at any time that you're no longer allowed because you cheated or whatever. So through this NPOW IP, there's going to be tasks that allow people to basically allow their IP to go ahead and click on a video, right? Even though they didn't really watch it. That's kind of a gray area, right? And it's really not controllable. You can't really stop it because to YouTube, they just see different IPs all around the world, just like regular viewers clicking on videos, right? But when you have these bots, when people purchase viewership, they only have, a pool of IPs that they constantly use, and those could be detected quite easily, and they have been. And I know, YouTubers that have been banned because of those kind of things. So that is just like one way we can use it. Right now, we're developing the Oracle, the decentralized Oracle, which is 100%, needed and totally legit. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So once that is set up, that's going to be better than any of the even blockchain oracles that are out there.
I will volunteer myself to distribute if you want to test that thing out.
Yes, for sure.
All right,
All
so
right.
last one here. When it comes to, I know you talked a little bit about price because that's what people love to beat you up for. Um,
Hmm.
when it comes to the VPN subscriptions, do you believe that that will have an impact on the price of DPR?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that Deeper Network could improve on is the exposure of the brand. And when people, I know a lot of people who are very frustrated with regular VPNs, right? And especially with a lot of the news out there where VPNs are centralized platforms that, when you're paying for the service, they have your name, your credit card number, all your, you know, um, data in terms of like what you're browsing and everything, and also if they get subpoenaed, like they have to give up that info. But through a decentralized um, VPN like us or DPN, that that is no longer in play. And also with centralized VPNs, there's a lot of bottlenecking during rush hour. A lot of people after work they will use VPNs, and it becomes very, very slow. And also, IPs get blocked through VPNs. Also, they purchase these IPs that they share and use and reuse. And when they get detected, which happens quite often, it will get blocked. And then they can't use their VPN for maybe a few days until they sort it out. Right. So that kind of stuff is not ideal. And so with our DPN, the use case, of course, as we initially launch, there's going to be some, just like with any blockchain, it's not going to be like perfect yet, but as we continue to build and more nodes and improve our app, that is really the go-to, and people won't have to worry about their security and privacy using a decentralized VPN. It's going to be huge, and we've been waiting for this. And as we develop into phase two, um, with the burning of DPR, that's going to be uh, great for DPR. Yeah.
So talking about the app, I mean, that is definitely something that I would love to use just because it's a little more difficult to have to go into AtomOS to try to set up, turn on what region I'm going to go to. If there was
Yep.
an easy solution, like an app, like you were saying, that I could use as a deeper device user already, that just facilitates the routing for me, essentially,
Right,
that would
and
be a
not
lifesaver.
not only that, Victor, because right now you can only use the DPN. Say, for instance, on your cell phone, right? You're watching something Netflix on your cell phone. You have to be connected to your own network. But as soon as you leave the perimeter or the radius of your network, the reach, you go to on vacation or something, you don't have that with you anymore unless you have a Pico with you, right? But with the DPN app, what you're allowed to do is still be able to use these services. Now, the benefits to the nodes is that we're able to gain a lot more users a lot faster than trying to gain nodes and selling devices, because a lot of people don't want to buy a device, so they just want to use the service. So when they download this app, which is most likely going to be free, and they could have the free trial. Once they love it, they can subscribe. All that benefits the nodes in terms of sharing. When NPLW fully kicks in, they're going to be rewarded for connections from apps as well, not only from other devices.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's great. And I guess the question is, I would love to use it even on my desktop, for example. Um, instead of having to go into Atom OS, is there going to be some type of connectivity between your Deeper Connect device that's on the network and the app itself, where you can log in with credentials that you're using for your network, so that it recognizes that you're already in, and so you don't have to pay fees and something along those lines?
Right. The remote access, I'm not sure on. I don't think we're quite that far yet, but that's certainly a great suggestion. And yeah, if it's something that users need, we'll certainly look into it and develop it. But I
Hey,
think that's a bit more common.
yeah,
Yeah.
at a bare minimum, what I'm saying is, if even if we're able to connect our wallet from our device, that way as we earn, we can pay for it right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think with the multi-chain wallet, that's going to streamline a lot of stuff as well. I can't wait for that to come out. Hey, Victor, would you mind? I have two speakers requesting to speak. Could I, if you have other questions, I'll invite you back up a little bit later. And then I have a Wonerick Steak that wants to speak. I'm going to ask him to come up. Is that cool?
Absolutely, Erica. No, I appreciate it. I was just making sure, going through questions here until somebody else raised their hand,
Yeah,
man.
I
I just
appreciate
want to make
that.
sure things are good.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Let me invite up Wonerick Steak, and then we also have a couple more that I have their hand raised. Hey, how you doing?
I don't know if you remember me. I'm Eric, also the guy from Hong Kong. Okay, I mean it's communist
Okay.
Hong Kong now, but anyway. Um, uh, yeah, I mean just for your information, it's just that now in Hong Kong, they're trying to recreate themselves as a financial hub again, right? So the
Yep.
government has like 100 billion Hong Kong dollars set aside to I don't know. It's kind of like subsidized Web3 fintech development, right? I mean, you could consider,
Yep.
looking into it, which which could,
To Hong Kong, yeah.
yeah,
And
you could come to. I mean, you could just set up an office in Hong Kong, and it doesn't need to be local Hong Kong people. It can be overseas people that they're trying to attract into Hong Kong, and you could be subsidized in that area. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but it's another way to help fund the development and all that stuff.
yep, absolutely. I know that Hong Kong just had a huge Web3
Yeah,
conference about a month ago, and I heard that was very, very
yeah.
successful. Um, I think right now, since we're based in the U.S. and it requires a lot of funding and stuff, there's just too many things happening
Mm.
at one time. If we see benefits of setting up an office in Hong Kong, that's certainly something that
Oh
we
yeah,
would
yeah. It's
do.
just for your
But
information because they have the money sitting there,
yeah,
and I mean it's up for grabs basically,
yes,
and a lot of people are getting into it to this thing. Anyway, I mean that's just for your information. The main questions is that uh, um, for the validator, is that a still
yes.
ongoing thing, or you're going to scrap the validators off the chain?
No, absolutely. We have the validator community already set up. Anybody can become a validator. The validator program is already open, but for a lot of people, they don't feel like this is the right time. It's quite expensive right now to become a validator. But if you go to our blog, you can learn how to become a validator,
Yeah.
and it's available. Absolutely, and it's important. Our council is set up.
Mm-hmm.
The number one voter, the prime voter in the council, is not even us.
Mm.
We have some team members on the council,
Mm-hmm.
but there are already some community voters in the council that are there. So there is some community involvement and participation, and it's perfect. It's a great transition and progression
So,
of the
but
project.
but is the requirement still that you need a million DPR to have staked already on the validator, or you can start the validator
I don't
and have
I don't
delegators?
remember I don't remember the exact amount. I don't believe it was as high as 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's in the blog piece. It's not a very long piece.
Mm-hmm.
All the requirements that are there.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody wants to be a validator, there's an option of hosting a server themselves, or they can host it through us by paying a small fee each month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite doable,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just some people have to do the math and see if it's something they want to do.
No, no. I mean, I do have the equipment and everything. It's just that I was because last time I heard it was you needed a million DPR to stake in that. So that means you have brought down the requirements.
I don't remember the exact amount, but it hasn't changed from the original article that was put out there.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
article does state 1 million DPR.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that what it is, Victor? You remember?
Yeah, no, I have it open right now. It does say that in order to become a validator node, the applicant will need to stake a minimum of 1 million DPR.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But
So that is
yeah,
the current amount.
what does that mean to have a minimum stake? Meaning that you have to stake it yourself, or you can have delegators stake to that amount to be to be an active set.
The validator themselves have to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think it could be shared.
Okay.
Yeah.
But people can delegate to you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
As a validator, people can they can select which validator to follow.
Okay. Good. Good.
Yes.
The other thing is that have you uh, uh, considered allowing people to use that DPR to purchase the deeper connect devices, or that is off the table?
Directly, DPR is probably off the table because of the Howey test and the SEC deeming DPR as a security. We don't want that. But what we are doing, and this might be premature, but there is the capability for us now to receive crypto payments, and we are in the process of researching and getting that set up so that people can purchase products using at the minimum a stable coin like USDC or something. But Bitcoin and Ethereum are other tokens I think on the list that people can purchase with, but we have to decide which ones we will open up first, and most likely it's going to be a stable coin.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make it easier.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so basically, that
Yeah.
when do you think this will be in play, or it's going to take a long time?
No, it shouldn't take a long time. I would say if I really had to, because this feature just came up, and we just have to do some setup and also some research into the risks involved with it.
Mhm.
But I don't know, maybe by next quarter,
Oh, okay.
this should be ready to go.
All right.
Yeah.
So because now we can't use Atom OS to stake into this thing, you did answer a bit of it earlier, but just to get this thing is that when do you think we can reuse the Atom OS to restake, to continue staking from the OS, the GUI?
Yeah, that I'm not sure. I think we had gotten in front of something that could have been bad or could have happened, and until we fix that issue, Atom OS upstaking will not will not be what do you call it, active until that issue is fixed. I don't know where they're at exactly with it, but I know that they are working on it. But we want to make sure that it's safe for the network for the staking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that means we have to pull it out and then send it to the web
Yeah.
and then redo it from there. Okay.
Yeah. A bit of a pain. I know. So I apologize. Can't just easily roll it in as it was.
One final question, right? One final question is
Okay.
so the DPR staking will be here forever, or it's going to be stopped at certain point?
That's a good question. My feeling is that eventually it will not be there forever, because as you know, as regulations become more and more clear, they're really taking a magnifying glass to staking right now, and I think that is something that'll probably eventually go away, and it kind of makes sense because NPOW won't really require staking. NPOW, the way it works is that you're actually doing real work on the internet, and it's creating value for companies and individuals to use this network to gain some sort of an accomplishment or something
So
to earn their rewards. Yeah,
so basically the staking will be pushed onto the validators.
correct, correct.
Okay. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
thank you.
absolutely. Thanks for your questions.
Thank you for staying on board, and thank you for keeping pushing this technology. Though it's in infancy and still have problems here and there, but I believe in you. Don't make me make the wrong
Thank you.
choice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay then.
No, we're trying our best, and thank you for still being here and a believer in the project. And it's great to hear people from all over the world. I know you're in Hong Kong.
Mhm.
We're actually not too far from each other, but I think one of the things is you realize the potential of this project, and that it's still early. And even though some of you might, in crypto, 1 year feels like 10 years. You might feel like you've been here forever, but in reality, when you zoom out, you really get a perspective in seeing how early you are. So there's a lot of up and downs, and I give you guys a lot of credit that people have stuck around, and right now it looks bad. They're down 90%. Well, whatever. That's all part of the process. And when you have diamond hands, a lot of people will benefit in the long run. Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. The next speaker.
Thank you so much. Great questions. Okay. Oh, wow. We have Mojo SEC. Uh-oh. I hope he's not with the SEC. Oh, there he is. Hey, Mojo Sec.
Hey, sorry. I've got terrible internet, but nice to hear from you all.
Yes, you too.
First off, I would like to say thank you. The devices are actually probably one of the nicest bits of hardware I've ever seen in Web3 or, anything that is sort of like this. I really like it. I actually have a Pico myself. My question is surrounding the kind of NPAL usage with Picos. So obviously staking is sort of being leveled out because of regulation and stuff like that. So it's probably going to be more reliant on proof of work on the internet. How obviously there's a lot of problems with being able to get such small hardware to do work, stuff like that, and I assume that's probably why it's had the issues previously. But is it a case of the beefier, let's say, the beefier the piece of hardware, the more we're going to get paid in NPAL? And if so, is there any sort of ideas or anything like that in terms of like a trade-in for a Pico and then a little bit more money from us to buy a more, solid, workable device?
Okay. I think you were kind of cutting in and out, but I think pretty good at filling in the blanks. So you're basically asking if there could possibly be trade-in program to increase the performance of newer, to buy. You can trade it in and buy better performing products from deeper network. I think that was your question, yeah?
Yeah, just because I actually really like the devices and I don't want a lot of e-waste. If the Pico isn't able to eventually work properly on NPAL, or you get paid more for a beefier device, is there going to be any sort of like trade-in for that, or can you confirm or deny if that the Pico is basically going to be able to have a level playing field in terms of working
I see.
on the internet?
Yeah. I think it's a little bit premature to give an answer for that because there's a couple of things at play here. Number one, NPOW is, still early in its development as a consensus mechanism, and right now it has, for the current use cases of it, requires a certain type of hardware requirement. So performance from that hardware. But that could change as NPOW continues to develop and requires less hardware performance. That's one. Number two, even though if worst case scenario, the Pico is never able to participate in NPOW, it still has its own use cases, right? So it's not like it's useless, right? A lot of devices out there that mine or would do whatever, as soon as the program is it stops, like the product itself becomes e-waste. It becomes a paperweight, right? Our devices aren't that like that, right? It still serves as a perfectly good 7-layer firewall network security. It also, you can still access DPN as well. So NPOW, although great, it's not going to be everything. And you could also use Rust Desk with it, right? So as far as trade-in goes, maybe as a part of a promotion, I could maybe see that happening. But besides that, I don't really see that happening. But that gave me a great idea of, trading in your Pico to get the newest device. And, one thing I didn't mention tonight, which some of you probably have in the back of your minds, is our Deeper Connect Pro, which is still in development as well. Most of the focus has been put on the Air currently, but the Pro is still in development. And that product is going to be tremendous because it's the decentralized storage aspect, the decentralized cloud storage that will allow you to take part in NPOW and earn rewards for storing bits of data that people want stored safely, not on a centralized server, but in pieces and bits across, multiple devices. So that is still in development. When that comes out, and I think, that will only come out once, obviously, like the network has to be strong enough and the demand has to be there, because that one is going to cost a little bit more. That device is going to have a hard drive in there. And it's going to be able to do a lot of other things as well. So, I hope that answered your question.
That does, yeah. I'm actually a hard drive miner myself.
Right. What do you mine with, Chia or
the hard drive? Yeah, a bit of Chia, a bit of
right.
AIOZ, which I think is like a
Filecoin
precursor to everything you guys are doing, but better. So I'm really, really hoping that it's going to be great from you guys, because definitely up for investing in that. So thank you. Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your question. Where are you calling from, Mojo?
From the southeast of the sunny / rainy / thunder / snowy UK.
UK. Okay. That's what I guessed. Awesome. Yeah, you can see we have users so far from Hong Kong that have called in. I know Victor's in the US, and then we have you, Mojo, from the UK. So cool to gather everyone here. Appreciate your questions. I'm going to invite up Kang the Conqueror. He's been a long-time supporter, and it's always great to hear from him as well. Hey, Kang. You've been invited up.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, hear you perfectly.
All right. So actually, you just answered one of my questions. I was really curious to see where they were at with the distributed, storage system for the deeper network. So that was the second question that I had that was answered. My first question, it's kind of like a two-part question, is basically for those of us with higher end internet connections who want to be able to basically have more bandwidth available to us, to where it's not taken by overhead, from the OS, due to ad filtering and things like that. Will there be more powerful devices? Are there more powerful devices in the pipeline? Say for example, for like, 2 gig and 10 gig ISP, networks, so that we can add more bandwidth and have more bandwidth available after overhead from all the internal processings of the deeper devices. And I'll stop right there before I answer the second one.
Okay, so I mean, absolutely. I think the Deeper Connect Air surprised everyone because they heard about the Pro before the Air was even heard about, right? So we're constantly developing and improving our devices, and it's still right now the only two products that I know of is the Deeper Connect Air, which is coming out very, very soon, and then the Deeper Connect Pro. And the Pro itself is certainly going to have probably the best performance out of all of them, right? Mm-hmm. So you can see the Air is actually not even the best performing because it's portable. The performance aspects of it is going to be lower like than the Mini, which was one of the original devices, right? Mm-hmm. So right now our most powerful device is still the Mini. And then even the Mini SE is more powerful than the Air. But the Air has features that some like the Mini might not have, right? So it's a portability, number one. Number two, I didn't talk about the app relocator yet. The app relocator is going to allow people to shop and save money on flights and hotels and a lot more easily than having to switch tunnels themselves. So that's going to be a feature, I think, for the layman, people who are not, from the IT industry. Like it's going to be super easy for them to use, and they could save hundreds and thousands of dollars on flights and stuff. It's going to pay for itself. So that feature, the app relocator, is going to most likely come out only for the Air first. So as we develop, there's going to be definitely other devices that come out after the Deeper Connect Pro, and the performance is going to be better. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually been using mine to save money on geolocated services. So
awesome. Like, what were some of the ones that you used it on, and how much did you save?
Crunchyroll actually was the last one that I used, and right now I got it for like 50% off. Was actually going for even cheaper than that because Crunchyroll in India is extremely cheap. I think probably like less than $20.
Yes.
But my credit card is not accepted, when it's coming from that region. So, I think, the bank, kind of like, no, that seems a little fishy. But they were a little bit more accepting of it coming from Saudi Arabia, which was still like 50% off. I still could have hunted, to see, which countries it was really, really cheaper than that. But even 50% off, I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with that. So I was pretty excited. And, same thing with when it comes to flights, we'll start using it for that as well. And start compiling some resources. So I started doing like a how-to video on how to do that. But
perfect.
And then the other question, I don't really expect this to be any time in the near future because of security concerns and stuff like that. But when it comes to the future of Atom OS, will it be taken into consideration for people to install Atom OS on their own hardware, which meets, security requirements? So say, for example, someone has like a Dell rack mount that they just want to throw into their, rack mount system with, X number of hard drives, et cetera, to contribute to the system. Will the users be able to contribute their own hardware, which may be higher end or customized, for their needs as long as it meets deeper network security requirements? Will that be a consideration?
Yes. The answer is absolutely yes. Right now, the reason Atom OS is not open source yet is because of trade secrets. Right now, we're still so early. If we were just to put it out there, we'd basically somebody would just take it and put us out of business, right? So we're still growing. We're trying to build our foundation, but eventually, as we gain a strong network where we have, the first starter. First starter advantage. I don't know if I'm using the right term. I forgot, but first mover advantage. So we will, to a certain point, when we reach a certain amount of nodes, we will certainly open Atom OS for open source, and I think that will also help Atom OS become even better. Right now Atom OS is quite practical and it's quite utilitarian, but in terms of aesthetics and user friendliness, it certainly has a ways to go, but it does the job. And once we have that open source, developers are gonna go nuts, customizing it, doing different, versions of it. So yeah, we do plan that for sure. That is in the roadmap.
All right, cool. Well, those are my questions. My silver Genesis is running strong still, and I
Awesome.
appreciate everything that you guys do. Huh?
Thank you. It's also always great hearing from you, and continue to like your tweets. Thanks a lot.
Hey, no problem.
Okay. We got Steven. Oh, we see Steven around as well. One of the early adopters. Hey, Steven, I got you added as a speaker.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for bringing me up, and also thank you for hosting the space today. It's good time.
My
I have a
pleasure.
couple quick questions. First one regarding credit score. Just a Genesis guy here. I've been working on growing my organic score now for a while, and almost climbed to the top. And just wondering, when Genesis mining ends and we move to mining 2.0 and proof of work mining, is that credit score going to have any value anymore, or is that just going to go away?
No, that was discussed. We don't have an answer for that yet, but it's certainly, you guys have worked so hard to grow that credit score. I have as well. I invested in this project just like you guys as well, not from as an insider, but just as a regular Genesis guy, and bought my own tokens, and I'm way past what basically I have a very good healthy credit score, and I also worry about that. What happens to credit score after POCR goes away, and it's certainly going to still have value. One of the things that was discussed, and again, this is not finalized, but for example, one of the things on the tables that was discussed was that credit score will still help you get tasks easier on NPOW, because
Okay.
NPOW is something that depends. It's kind of by chance as well. So if your credit score is a certain a certain amount, it will make it easier for you to grab tasks, which means higher rewards in the long run. So that is one of the things that's on the table for discussion. There's other ideas. If you guys have other ideas like that, we would certainly love to hear them. And but I think right now we're not quite there in terms of like on a determination of how that's handled. So that's good. That's good for users, because then they can put their input in, and we can determine
Yeah,
how that will
I
affect.
think
Yeah,
that's a really good idea, and it's nice to hear that you guys are thinking about the Genesis folks, and
absolutely.
keeping
Yeah.
us up there. Second question, last question, just regarding nodes and the numbers. How big is the network? How many nodes are on the network? And is there like a critical mass, a point where is there a number where you guys are shooting for, where it's sort of like, okay, our network is ready to go now. We're built out. Obviously, you don't ever want to have a ceiling, but is there a number?
Yeah. Right now, we've sold over 100,000 devices. Okay, so are they? Well, the potential of over 100,000 nodes is there. Now, I can honestly say not everyone is on the network. Some have never staked. Others are just not on the blockchain, but they're using it as a cybersecurity device. They're connected as a DPN, but they're not actually a node. But I think at any given time, we have about 35,000 to 40,000 nodes on the network,
Nice.
and that constantly changes. Yeah, but that's certainly not enough, and I'm glad you asked about this regarding the critical mass. We're still quite a ways off, but I do believe the curve is going to be somewhat exponential as we continue to build this out. But I've always heard the number of 500,000 minimum to 1 million. So it's quite a range, I understand. And, it might seem like, oh, we only have 100,000 devices to get to 500,000. How many years is that going to take? Well, like I said, as we continue to grow, that could happen very, very quickly. So I can't predict how fast that will be, but I think if we have 1 million nodes under our belt on the network, and we continue to progress as a decentralized project, it's going to be unstoppable. Yeah.
Will app users become a node, or is it always going to be a hardware situation?
It's always going to be hardware. The apps are always going to be just kind of using the service. So that's what's going to generate publicity and also usership and rewards for the hardware users.
Cool. Well, thank you, man, and come back again soon, okay?
I will. Thank you so much, Stephen. Great to hear from you. Where are you from, Stephen? You sound
California.
American.
Yeah,
No?
I'm out in Cali.
Okay.
Just woke up.
Perfect. Thanks. Good morning. All right. All right. I don't see any other speakers. I'll go to a couple of the questions here. Is Deeper going to have any merch for sale, T-shirts and stuff? Good question. Yes, we have looked into that. I think the hardest part about merch is not so much like what merch we want to make, you know, and like you know how much it's going to be. It's more on the logistic side. We have now tons of warehouses around the world. We have one in the UAE now as well, which serves that region. We're growing. You know, we're still trying to get a warehouse in India and that kind of region. You know, if we start selling merch, logistics and shipping is quite expensive, and just to ship a T-shirt halfway around, you know, around the world, it's kind of tough. So I think that's been one of the things that's been holding us back, and there's been higher kind of priorities besides just selling T-shirts and stuff. It's always fun, and I wish we did. Just I would love to see people wearing our stuff. But right now, it's not at the top of our priority list. We looked at it, and I think it's still in the talks, but we're trying to figure out the logistics because every warehouse, or at least a handful of warehouses, need to have, you know, tons of shirts, different sizes, different designs. For them to sort that out, it's kind of a pain in the butt, and I think it would, you know, our team's not huge, and it would basically be a nightmare to try to control all that. But yeah, I think eventually we'll get there. Let's see. All right, Job Camara, he's been around for a long time. He says, can we get a quick update on the app? Okay, deeper domains were really, yeah. So I guess he arrived late. I did give an update on the app. It should be released. It's going to be available for testing for our testers community starting next month, so people can use it. And shortly after that, flushing out any more bugs from there. It should be on Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, and iOS, pretty much all at the same time, shortly after that. Okay, what does it mean when you say the DEP Oracle pulls up price? Okay, that's a good question. So, oracles typically they use you know, what do they call it? My brain just froze. But basically, they pull prices for crypto. They pull prices for different things. So it's pulling data. So it uses a resource like, you know, your IP to pull a price from a website or from something else. So I guess that's what I mean. And that kind of service is widely used around the world for a lot of different types of data. So when I say pulling a price, it just means that as a part of NPOW, if somebody is using, they need, you know, a price every 10 seconds for this token on their website, then they will, you know, for every minute, they will have 6 pulls in price using your IP as an NPOW. And that's income for you. So that's kind of the how that works regarding that. So, okay. What do investors get in return for doing this? Well, you get DPR basically, and that is your reward for doing work. basically. All right, next question. This is from Carol. Can you explain how are you going to give DPR more utilities, like an example, governance? Oh, absolutely. So DPR is already, well, the most basic. I'll go from the most basic to something more advanced, like the governance. So right now, you can use DPR to purchase things on CryptoCart. Okay, that was just one of the partners we had in the past. You can purchase gift certificates and different things for, Starbucks to Nike to whatever, to subscriptions on CryptoCart using DPR. The other thing is DPR will be, eventually we'll have it burned in order to create EZC. So indirectly, DPR will have value in terms of from an deflationary aspect to help the price, and then in return they'll get EZC credits, which they can use towards services like the app. That's not developed yet, but that is the kind of the next stage. And then moving on from there. DPR obviously is the reward people use to mine. There's definitely the DPR in terms of a governance token as well. We have the council set up, and eventually, in order to vote, right now you have to have DPR as well. So that is actually working already, but it's still quite basic. We've done a lot of test votes as a council, and have the community participated to vote as well, and so that's already in place, and that will be developed further as time goes. Okay. When is the app relocator going to come, and will it work on smart TV? Yeah, it's going to come first on the Deeper Connect Air. From there, I'm not really sure exactly, but on a smart TV, not sure how that works exactly, but it will hit Picos and Minis eventually as well. Okay, but it might take some time. Probably on the Air first. This is a question that just popped into my head that nobody really asked yet, and that is centralized exchanges and when we're going to get on a tier 1. I can tell you we continue to progress with tier 1 exchanges in terms of listing, and they're continuing to do their due diligence with Deeper Network. And for instance, we had to abide by some of their requests to take off all of the AMAs off the YouTube. People in the community thought that was some sort of a conspiracy, taking that off because, there's some things in there, but it really isn't. It had to be taken off because there were some things in there that verbiage that the tier 1 exchanges were worried about in terms of being a security. Okay, being DPR, being a security. There was also some verbiage regarding passive income that they were worried about. So these are kind of things that they're very careful about, and they just politely asked us to take those things off just so as a part of the process of due diligence, they requested certain things to be taken off, adjusted, so on and so forth. So, it's a long process, and, some people might ask like, oh, how come these new projects, they come on for a few months and then they get listed on Binance or Coinbase and stuff. How come they do it so fast? You guys do it so slow? Well, part of the reason is, we're a startup, like we're a smaller company. We're not invested in terms of like tens and hundreds of millions of dollars, where they have that kind of backing. It's definitely gonna list a lot faster, right? And so the other thing is, we're doing it organically. We don't have money to burn to pay. For a lot of you guys out there that don't know the inner workings, to list on a tier 1, it costs hundreds, sometimes millions of dollars during a bull run to list on a tier 1 exchange. Exchanges, they make money from listings, right? There's no doubt about that. And if you want to do it organically, they basically will continue to do due diligence, and they know that when you have they have a project they're looking at that the community has demand for, they want people to trade it, so they're going to list you, and they do it like that as well. And that's the kind of the route we're going. And I think it's more responsible because I know plenty of projects that just go ahead and list on a tier one, and there's no demand for it. And what's the purpose of that? And you just spent $1 million listing your token on an exchange, nobody's trading it, right? But it looks good, right? But that's kind of not where we're going. All right. And I hope to get listed soon, but it's not up to us. And whenever they're about to list us, they don't even tell us. They'll just maybe tell us one day ahead of time, and boom, we're on. So I know we're getting close because we've. I guess I can't really say what I want to say, but we're in very close dealings with them, and they have requested things from us that is basically we're basically in the final stages kind of thing. I'm not saying we're going to get listed tomorrow, but hopefully before the next bull run. Okay. Does the Deeper Connect Air have a battery in it? No, it does not. It still needs to be powered, and so it's powered by a USB-C. Anything that a female USB-C plug will be able to power on the Deeper Connect Air. All right, last question I have in this written space would be when using a VPN, you can choose a tunnel from each app on the phone. I saw VPN can do for a website. Can you make it working on apps? Yes. As long as your phone is on a tunnel, okay, whether it's through the app, right, which will be directly, because if you're using our app when it comes out, it's in it'll basically route all your traffic on your phone to that tunnel. So if you're going to India, everything, even the app will show that you're in India. So certain apps will have maybe like extra features or that are censored in a certain country now is able to work. So that will definitely work. The other way you can get it working now is to just set up your Deeper Connect Mini or Pico or whatever on your network. Route it to the tunnel that you want to use. For instance, if I want to watch Netflix on my phone, I want to route it to India, and I want to watch certain Bollywood movies, and I'm not in India. I could set it to full route, and then or I could customize my domain so that every time I go to Netflix, it automatically routes it to India. That's the other way you could do it. And then anything on the network, an iPad, a cell phone, your computer, smart TVs, it can be routed to India, and you could use that tunnel to gain access to Indian films and whatever. Okay, so that was from Shang Zi Liang. All right, let me come back to this page. I think that's pretty good. It's about an hour and a half. I don't want to make this too long. I know a lot of people out there that's going to be listening to the whole thing, so I don't want to kill them with that. But if there's no other questions, I'm going to stop the recording now. And I want to thank everyone who attended this AMA, and I hope to do another one soon if we have further updates. But always hit us up. I think our customer service is awesome. I'm truly proud of our customer service. They're useful, helpful, and very quick to respond. I think in the blockchain space, in the crypto space, customer service is really hard to come by. Because we have product and shipping and logistics, it's certainly more advanced than a lot of projects that don't have any products and that have zero customer service. So if you have any questions, please feel free to hit us up at support.deeper.network, request for a ticket, and then you can send a request there. And also, follow me on Twitter if you haven't. I try to give updates there as well at Hello Eric Ma, HelloEricma. You can follow me there. And keep us engaged. And I think the last thing I want to say before I end this space is that, our project is only going to succeed with users and supporters like you guys. If we don't have you guys, like, this project cannot survive. And so far, we've continued to grow. And I want to thank everyone that's been around and supporting and that's been using our devices and promoting it. And I think, Mother's Day is coming up. You want to protect your family and your mother and their network at home from malware and all these sort of things. Purchase a device for them. Spread the word. You have friends and that you talk to that could possibly use this. Tell them. I try to spread the word as much as I can as a chief evangelist. That's my job. And I've traveled the world and I truly see firsthand the need for DPN, decentralized. There's so much censorship around the world. And going to Turkey, for instance, I couldn't access certain apps and certain programs. And obviously when you go to a country like China or when I was in Dubai, I could not access, apps. I couldn't use my chat app, and I couldn't go to so many things. And it's just like I had my Pico with me, and it was a lifesaver. So you have people that travel, and you have brothers and sisters or colleagues that need devices like this. Tell them about it, and tell them, for $99 you can. $129, you can have a solution, and it will protect your network as well. And with that will help us grow, and it would help the overall ecosystem of Deeper Network, which in a result would hopefully have higher token prices as well. I know a lot of you guys care about that. I obviously do as well, but it's certainly not at the top of my list because there's so much more to this project than just the token price. And so by doing so, and you can become an affiliate and make commission through your unique affiliate code to sell devices. Just sending this link and sharing it with your friends. If they decide to buy it, then you get 10% commissions. These are all great ways to help promote, and we can all band together and accomplish the same goal. And I know many of you guys are doing that already. Continue to engage with us on Twitter, on Instagram, on all of our platforms. We'd love to see your comments. I know usually we see a lot of negative comments because that's usually just the nature of the beast, right? People will complain and write negative comments, but they will never spend the time to write something positive. But I love doing AMAs because that tends to be the opposite. I always hear positive things, people coming up saying they love the devices. The support I receive during AMAs is so great. But I wish I could see more of that in Twitter as well. And when you do that, we will reshare it. And it will help, and it's a testimonial. And these things are much more trusted than words coming out of our own mouth saying, "Oh, we have a good device," right? When it's coming out of your mouth, it counts 10 times more. So please help continue to support us. And I think overall, by doing so, you're supporting yourselves as well. All right, I'm kind of losing my voice. I got a weird bug, I think, from my son a couple days ago. So I'm going to end the AMA here. Had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did as well. And have a great day. Have a great evening wherever you are. And we'll see you soon. And take care, guys. Thank you. And go Deeper Network.